Sean.
Mike?
What is this? A crossover episode? Yowza, yowza, bobowza. Oh, Sean, why are you sad today?
It felt like the sad music was appropriate for this episode.
This is a sad episode, and not just because the presidential debate happened last night in this timeline, but because it's You, episode 10 of season 3 of BoJack Horseman.
So I'm gonna derail us because you just brought that up. Presidential debate episode of BoJack Horseman. BoJack is one of the candidates. Who from BoJack Horseman that we've met so far would you want to be the candidate he's debating?
Not to spoil anything, but there is...
Are we going to get a BoJack debate episode?
No. There is not a BoJack, but there is a character on this show that we've met that gets into politics.
Okay, interesting.
Do you have a guess?
I think it's going to be Todd.
Interesting.
Todd is immediately who comes to my mind because that's just the craziest thing that could happen.
All right, I guess we'll see what your prediction is. But yeah.
I want to see BoJack debate Lenny Turtletop.
Oh, Turtletop would be good. Turtletop's he's not fake enough to be a politician, though. You know.
Yeah.
He's like he
That's true.
I guess one of the guys running for president isn't either, but like.
Oh, I'd want him to debate the Navy SEAL.
Neil McBeal, the Navy SEAL?
Yeah, Neil McBeal, the Navy SEAL.
That's a good one, too. I mean, he kind of did.
Yeah.
Over some stale muffins, you know?
Yeah, I feel like we should.
BoJack ate the whole thing.
2-hour debate.
Anyway, this episode, It's You. Season 3, episode 10, 8.8 on IMDb. And it aired on July 22nd, 2016. And you know what that means, Sean?
Christ.
We have to go over what happened on that day. We'll just...
Also, this episode weirdly prescient, but go on.
We'll get the worst thing out of the way first. Hillary Clinton announces Virginia Senator Tim Kaine as her vice presidential running mate.
That is the worst thing. That is the worst thing.
Second worst thing, a man shoots and kills 9 people at the Olympia shopping mall in Munich, Germany, and then kills himself. Yikes.
Fuck.
Japan's Funai Electric announced they will manufacture the world's last video cassette this month.
I mean, that's tragic.
Yeah, very, very. Thomas Sutherland, American hostage, Lebanon, and academic, dies at 85. Ursula Franklin, German-born Canadian physicist, educator, and activist, developed archaeometry, dies at 94. And the number 1 song in the UK and the US is One Dance by Drake, Pedophile, featuring WizKid and Kyla. So there's...
I feel like you programmed me.
Yeah. I'm
Lebanon.
It's really a Pavlovian response at this point for you to say Lebanon. So this is episode It's You. Before I get to how you felt about it, let's go visit our friend Edvis1997 on IMDb.
This is really his podcast.
Yeah, Edvis, the star of the podcast. Edvis gave this an 8 out of 10, and in the subject line, he put 8. And his review is very simple. Poor BoJack, he didn't deserve that. It was really depressing. Welcome to the show, Edvis. Glad you finally joined us.
I also feel like the show is saying something else.
Yes.
I feel like the show is pretty directly saying something else.
Yes. No, I agree. But Edvis is off the mark here. Not Edvis's best review.
Yeah.
So Sean...
Not his best review.
God, don't start going into the Trump impression. What did you think of this episode, John?
I really liked this episode. I think this is a weird thing. There's some really cool animation in this episode that I really dug. I think I was expecting something that was going to hit me harder.
I did kind of set you up a little bit.
Yeah. Which it did hit me, but I feel like it wasn't like it was like the ending was really
and that's what I was referencing. I do feel like while the ending does hit, I feel like it didn't hit as hard as I remember it hitting.
Yeah.
From watching previously.
Actually, there's a line earlier in the episode that I felt like affected me more than the last line.
Okay, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
So this episode opens with Mr. Peanutbutter announcing for us the Academy Award nominations, and he's late. And looks very disheveled and upset.
Oh my God. What perfect setup. I forgot that he's late in the cold open.
Yes.
Or not the cold open, but the opening. Yeah,
he's late in the open. And he says, just like on my show, Hollywood stars and celebrities, do they know things? Let's find out. Let's find out. And the best actor nominees are George Clooney for The Nazi Who Played Yahtzee, of course. Brett Poot for City of AIDS. Colin Firth for First Things First, the Colin Firth story. Michael Fassbender for I Want to Say Bill Gates.
I love that it's
and
just
BoJack
Michael
Horseman.
Fassbender.
Yeah. Michael Fassbender, he doesn't get a funny name. BoJack Horseman for Secretariat.
Yes.
And at this moment, we pan out to see that Anna and BoJack are in his bedroom watching this, and she's like, hey, how do you feel? And he does the thing he did earlier in the season. I don't know if you remember, because, we took like fucking a year to record this season.
Yeah.
But he like does this stand up, and we think it was a reference to a meme, and he like puts on like aviators and goes, awesome. And the like sun shines.
Oh, okay.
And then it goes into like the open of the show. But this time he goes, I feel, he stands up and the music kind of swells like he's going to do it. And he goes, I feel the same.
Yeah.
And it kicks into the intro in the same way it did when he did that bit earlier.
And I gotta say, I'm very happy with how this like continues immediately, because when he said that, like, I feel the same, and he had that moment of realization, part of me was like, dude, you fucking learned this lesson before.
Right.
Like, you have learned this lesson that you can't fill the void with like shiny shit multiple times. And then when we come back, that's pretty much the first thing he says is, fuck, I've learned this before. Why did I not see this coming? And I was like, okay, at least like, I'm happy that the show is like, yes, Sean, that's the point. Congratulations. And he's self-destructive.
Yes. And so Anna starts talking him down, and she says the line, don't fetishize your own sadness, which is a really
and that comes up
interesting thing to say. And he feels like he's drowning, and she tells this crazy story.
Yeah.
And they do this really interesting like animation for it. That's like, very, not very frame heavy. And she crashes into a lake, and she woke up underwater, and she didn't know which way to go. And she noticed her air bubbles were going up. So she followed the bubbles. And so she's saying, it's important to breathe when you feel like you're drowning and you don't know where to go. And he's kind of like, that was like a terrifying story. And I agree.
It's a terrifying story. I understand, like, okay, yeah. Like, I understand the meaning you're going for here.
Yeah, it almost feels
also,
like made up.
I don't know about if just breathing in that scenario is like you were drowning.
Yeah, it's metaphorical, Sean.
I get it, but
she didn't literally mean breathe in water.
I mean, look,
come on.
You don't know that.
No, I do.
You don't know that.
And he says, hey, I don't deserve to be a best actor. And she goes, awards are about who's the best.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's literally the only thing they're about.
Here, I'm curious. Had this show won any awards before now?
I actually don't know.
Was that them going, fuck you?
It's possible. I actually don't know if it had or not. I don't know if it won awards, period. I really don't know.
Interesting. Okay.
But she gives him this speech about how he was special, and maybe no one thought he was special, but he knew. And now he can say that you were right the whole time. And he's like, I was right. I am one of the special people. And so he's like, we just got nominated for an Oscar. Let's party it up. And so we have some really cool animation in this whole scene throughout. It starts with some birds flying in, and we're like kind of following them like we're a third bird, like, first person point of view, walking into BoJack's house where there's this crazy party going, and there's a lot of funny like animal gags going on. And one guy's one of the fucking killer whales from the strip club is backing it up on some dude, and he just starts pouring the bourbon in her blowhole.
Yeah,
as she's backing it up. And in the center of it is Bojack, shirtless under his suit coat. And we get this montage of Skinny Gina answering the door with all the things that get brought in, including a giant Oscar that's made of chocolate.
Yeah.
DJ David Guetta, as she says it, his free Tesla. And he goes, hey, park that Tesla in the fucking living room because I am Bojack Horseman. And everybody's like, fuck yeah. So he's just having the time of his life at this party. He steals a wheelchair from a girl at one point, and she's psyched laying on the floor for him.
Which, like, you know, fair enough. Right. I love the animation in this party. I don't know. Everything looks great.
And like just the way like everybody's having a good time and the way the lights flashing. And then Skinny G answers the door again, and it's Diane, and she says, hey, there's a nerd here. And outside, you know, they go outside by his pool, and there's a lot of other crazy animal jokes. He has a chili cheese fountain that there's an elephant just absolutely destroying when they walk by. And she's like, hey, I know sometimes you spiral when you get this kind of recognition. I wanted to make sure you were okay. And he's totally being a dick. Just really plays it off. And she's like trying to be a good friend, it seems like. And at first, I guess at first he's not totally a dick, but he's just like, hey, I'm great. Like, there's nothing wrong with this.
Yeah.
And she's like, too bad I'm not managing your social media anymore. And he goes, you're not going to make me guilty about Princess Carolyn. And
he gets really
mean here. Because he's like, I don't even know what you're doing, tweeting for celebrities. You used to be so cool and interesting. And she's like, wait, I wasn't cool.
And he's projecting, right? You know?
Right.
Like, we know from earlier that and I mean from right now, like what, an episode or two ago, or it was like 2 episodes ago, that he fucking lost he wasn't able to make the movie with
with Kelsey Jennings.
Yeah, with Kelsey. Like, I just and we know that like he is super insecure about the fact that he's not even in Secretariat.
Right.
like so yeah, it's very like, I was in this whole scene, I was pretty upset because I was like, dude, what the fuck are you saying? Like, this is all like really out of left field and like very, very rude.
Well, and she almost doesn't clock it at first because she's still being like vulnerable, because he's like, hey, you used to do all this cool and interesting stuff, you used to care about shit. And she like goes into this actually pretty reasonable tirade about how, you know, she's over giving a shit because she's seen people die in bombings, and she's had people give death threats. Like,
and he just blows right past it. Like,
and and
the dying and bombing thing was crazy.
Right. And she's like, I'm sorry if that makes me a bad person. And he goes, I never said you were a bad person. I just said it's not you. And you know it's not you. And then so this is when she starts to lash back out kind of, and she's like, who are all these people that you're here with? There's a guy in the pool that looks just like Howard the Duck, drinking a martini. And he can't name any of them. And she's like, you know, when he lashes back out, he's like, hey, I don't fetishize my own sadness. And it's like, oh, okay, so this is really him just projecting. And
well, it's him projecting, and it's almost like turning therapy speak that he's heard said to him around.
Right.
You know?
Well, and she replies, I don't fetishize my own sadness. And he just kind of goes, sure. Which is like almost the meanest thing he does. Right?
And it's a line here that she then says that I thought hit me harder than the final line, where she's talking about like, you're going to win your Oscar, or you're going to lose your Oscar, or whatever, but you're going to be so miserable, you're going to want to kill yourself.
Before she says that, he says something that's mean too. He goes, you know, you can live in your mansion and tweet for a living, or tweet for a living and live in your mansion that your husband bought, or you can think you're better than everyone, but you can't do both. And that prompts her to say, you know,
you're going to win your Oscar,
and give your speech, come home, and you're going to be miserable and want to kill yourself, and there'll be no one there to stop you.
I think it's even I don't know. The exact wording of it I wrote down, I think, is
you'll
really
have nobody left to
powerful
stop you. Yeah.
Yeah, is you're gonna be so miserable, you're going to want to kill yourself, and you're gonna have nobody left to stop you. Is just such a, and like, it's harsh, but it's true.
Right.
Like, we all know that, and BoJack knows too, that at the end of this, he's gonna be right back where he started.
Right.
Like, chasing this is not gonna make him any better, and pushing away everybody that cares about him while he chases that is just going to mean that when he hits rock bottom again at the end, like he will, he's pushing everybody away at that point.
Well,
like, I mean, look what's happened with Todd this season.
Right. Well, and what's funny is as she's walking away, a guy goes, "Hey, it's BoJack, BoJack, BoJack."
Yeah.
And people start chanting, and he's so like drunk on that he doesn't even realize what he's saying. He goes, "There's going to be no one around when I kill myself. Listen to this chanting. There's going to be plenty of people around when I kill myself." And then the animation that they do, he like almost has this realization of what he said.
Yeah.
Like, oh, wait, what? You know? And and that's when he goes into the bedroom and Anna's in there and she's not partying with him, right? And he kind of says, "Hey, are you, even when this Oscar thing is done, are you still going to be around?" Like, and she kind of blows him off.
Yeah.
And just like, you can tell she's uncomfortable because the answer is no. She's not going to be around, win or lose. And so she's acting like she's going to work for him. Like, "Hey, stop worrying about the future. I'm going to go make sure that you win this Oscar. And he's like, "Okay." And then we get literally what's one of the coolest parts of the episode. We get the opening, basically.
Yeah. I told you this was going to happen eventually, but I think
did.
I said it was going to be the end of the show.
And so we get the opening basically of him walking through this party and like still frames. He gets in the Tesla and puts it in fucking reverse and crashes into the pool. And he's in the pool just like in the opening. And then we see a yellow arm reach down to pull him out after he passes out. And it's Mr. Peanutbutter.
I also want to call attention to this scene because, like, yeah, he passes out, but the implication that I drew from it is, I mean, this is a suicide attempt.
Yeah.
Like, he accepts it.
Well, I think, he
could get out of the water if he wanted to, and he doesn't want to.
Well, and I think the way he reacts in this next scene to me reads as he's limit testing. He wants somebody to care about him more than just like chanting his name and pull him out, right? And lucky for him, Mr. Peanutbutter had showed up at the party. Also unlucky for him that Mr. Peanutbutter showed up at the party, as we're going to find out here. But he goes, "Mr. Peanutbutter," and he goes, "Thank God you're okay." He goes, "Thanks to you, you wonderful man. I'm more than okay. When you said my name this morning, you changed my life." And then he says, "Hey, did you see Erica? She was looking for you earlier with her good eye, and her other eye was looking at the stars." So we get a little bit more info about our friend Erica. But so we go into a flashback with Mr.
This
Peanutbutter.
is when I realized what was going to happen. Because he goes like, "I got good news and I got bad news." And I think I typed in chat at that point. I was like, did he get La La Landed?
Okay, so this is one of the rare pop culture things that you're going to have to explain to me, because I don't know what happened with this.
So in the 2017 Oscar ceremony, so for the 2016 movies, at the end of the ceremony, when they went to read Best Picture, it was the Best Actress card. And it was fucking two really old actors, an actor and an actress. And the actor like pulls the card out and he's visibly like, "This isn't fucking right." And so he like hands it to the girl to read. And she goes, she sees Emma Stone, La La Land. And so she goes, "La La Land, you won Best Picture." And everybody goes up on stage and people start running out from the back and looking at everybody's cards. And then one of the producers of La La Land goes up to the stage and to the microphone and goes, "No, this is wrong. We lost. Moonlight won."
Ooh.
They mistakenly called La La Land as the Best Picture winner when it was another movie.
And this happened after this episode of BoJack Horseman, correct?
After this episode aired, yeah. Yeah.
Which it's not exactly the same thing, but it's like...
But it's pretty.
Yeah,
it's pretty like,
close.
it's pretty similar.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say...
like, holy shit.
I thought you were going to talk about John Travolta and Adele Dazeem.
No.
Which is maybe one of my favorite things that's ever happened. Adele Dazeem. And they're like, who? What the fuck, John Travolta? So we flash back to a week before, and Todd is with Mr. Peanutbutter and a realtor looking at an office space for Cabracadabra, where he explains that it was a safe place for women, then it was a safe place for men and women. Now it's a less safe place for women and a safe place for men to look at women.
See, and this is why I think he's going to be the one that goes into politics. I think the whole shtick is going to be he starts with a really great policy, but then it just morphs into something horrible. But like everybody's on board with it, because that's what's been kind of happening with this is this has gone terribly out of control. Like this is really bad. But everybody around him is like, yeah, successful, good job, blah 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 blah, except for Emily.
During this, Mr. Peanutbutter's very forlorn and very upset because of his brother.
Well, because
and the realtor's like, "Is he okay?" And Todd's like, "Oh, his brother's sick." And she goes, "Oh, I'm so sorry, but you know what else is sick? This hardwood floor." It's like, what the fuck? And he's like, "Did you hear that, Mr. Peanutbutter?" So we then cut to Princess Carolyn and Judah, who are talking about the financials of BoJack leaving, and it's not looking good. She talks about she wishes that Cats really did have 9 lives because she's screwing this one up, and he's very supportive, and but they do have to cut some staff, and we cut to her like, it looks like she's talking, it's like kind of a Mad Men moment. She's on like the staircase, talking to like looks like a whole office, and it's just Diane. Yeah. So that adds a little bit of salt to the conversation she had with BoJack in the future, where he makes fun of her for having her job. She doesn't even have this job anymore. Yeah. So BoJack retroactively even more of a dick. Yeah. But Diane takes it well, and they end it, pretty amicably. Yeah. And we cut to Mr. Peanutbutter, who has a ton of strainers in his living room. And
I can't wait for the payoff. And there's a small part of me that thinks the payoff is that there's not going to be a payoff.
That small part of you is wrong, sir.
There's a small part of me that thinks like you have fucking played the long game with me.
No, I would never.
And I've been bamboozled. I've been taken for a fool.
No, I would never. So Mr. Peanut Butter's on the phone with Captain Peanut Butter, and he's saying, can't you get a second opinion? And they're talking about his illness, but he gets a call from Shep Von Trapp, who is like a German dog. He's not a German Shepherd because he's a small dog, but he's German. He's definitely German. And he's with the Academy Awards, and he wants Mr. Peanut Butter to host the Academy Award nomination reveal, not the awards themselves. And they remark that Jimmy Fallon just broke his face, and we get
I fucking loved this cutaway.
Back to Halloween in January, which is a store that was Mr. Peanut Butter and Todd idea, but they didn't finish the floor. And the last time we saw Andrew Garfield fell, I think it was season 1.
It's been a while.
But Jimmy Fallon not only is going to go in there and doesn't end up going, but he goes, Barry Gibb would be like, "Hi, I'm going in," which I think is the stupidest fucking joke. But he ends up.
This worked so well for me as well because all respect to Jimmy Fallon. I'm not a Jimmy Fallon fan.
Yeah, he's all right.
The over-the-top enthusiasm thing, I know some people like it. For me, it's just really grating.
Yeah, no, I agree. And then he gets absolutely annihilated by a bus.
I was like, what? What is gonna,
There's no way he's just gonna fall down, right?
I was in my head, I was like, is he gonna fall in? What? And then the bus fucking just takes him out, and I'm like, holy shit.
So Mr. Peanut Butter finds out he was their second first choice after their first choice got hit by a bus. And Mr. Peanut Butter's like, I don't know, I'm not really feeling up to it, but I'll let you know. And he gets back on the phone with Captain Peanut Butter, who's like, you gotta take this job. And we get one of my favorite running bits of the episode where they talk about something that their grandmother used to say. Yeah, and this one is, hold on, let me find it. What did Nana Peanut Butter always say? Always take every opportunity that comes your way, because opportunities are like sneezes from God. And when God sneezes, you can't say God bless you to God. So instead, you have to take the opportunity. I'm cold. Will you pass me that blanket? Which is just, and we return to it one more time in this episode, and I think it's just a funny bit. So Mr. Peanut Butter does remark to him, hey, you're going to call me when you get out of surgery. I'll have my phone glued to me. And so that kind of sets up Mr. Peanut Butter revealing the Academy Awards. We cut to that day, and we find out the envelope is like...
I love this so much. Are you ready, Brother Pricewater?
Yeah.
Of course, Brother House Coopers.
Yeah. That's fucking stupid. They take great care with this envelope.
And also, I hate to, be that guy. I don't know that the functionality of that door is.
No.
Is I don't know. I don't see why there are two keys.
No, it doesn't make sense. They're both in the same room.
Like, yeah. And I feel like one of those keys would do it.
Right, you'd think so.
It would just unlock the right side of the door or whatever.
So we cut to where they're delivering the envelope, and Mr. Peanut Butter fumbles his phone because he's not sure if he wants to give it to Todd.
I need to eat shit right now because I just was watching it, and they do actually show this, that if you pause when the door's opening, there's like two metal tubes or something, like metal cylinders that like go across to the other door.
Oh, so you need both keys.
Yeah, so there's one on top and one on bottom. So one of the keys must pull back the top one.
That's hilarious.
And one of the keys pulls back the bottom. I'm actually really surprised they bothered to animate that into that.
It's important. It's the Academy Award nominees. Yeah. It's very important.
Yeah.
So he fumbles his phone and kicks it out the door, and a comical set of things happen now. Played to the first time we hear the full version of Mr. Peanut Butter's house theme, which I fucking love. This is one of my favorite things from this show. I will put on Mr. Peanut Butter's theme, and it makes Tara irrationally angry. Okay. I fucking love this song. I love the fucking Mr. Peanut Butter's house. Like, that shit is so good. It's a bop.
I have something to say about Mr. Peanut Butter.
Yes.
And this is something that really shook me to my core while I was watching this episode. That dog looks freakishly tall in a suit.
Yeah, he's really tall here. You're right. I'm watching it right now.
I was watching it. I was like, he looks weird.
Yeah.
He looks, the proportions are off.
Yeah.
That was the big thing I had to say about Mr. Peanut Butter.
That was the big thing you had to say, is that he's tall.
Yeah. He's really tall in that suit specifically.
Yeah. He looks very tall.
Also, we kind of moved past it, but I love the put the phone in my pocket. It's a fake pocket.
Oh, dude,
tricked again.
I hate those fake pockets in suits. I'm with him on that.
I do. I just love that he says tricked again. Yeah. Like he's been gotten by this before.
He absolutely has. You know he has.
Yeah.
So the phone gets in the elevator and goes down, and they chase it down and gets kicked around and kicked outside into the sewer. And then we see 4 turtles working on something, and they all have the different color bandanas of the Ninja Turtles.
I didn't notice that. That's great.
Yeah. So, and they're just kind of watching as the phone goes by. Then the alligator pops up. It goes down into a whirlpool, and then it comes out of a toilet. Yeah. I just tried seeing it now. I read that you can see when the nominees leave his pocket, and I didn't see it watching it.
Now I need to look back.
Yeah,
I need to watch this again.
Who's that dog? Mr. Peanut Butter, Knick Knack Paddy, wack, give a dog a bone.
I think the song is distracting you.
He's a dirty dog.
You know,
he just
you have
wants
to turn
to
the
do
volume
his
down
job.
to like back out of a space. I feel like that's what's happening to you right now.
Yeah, maybe. Mr. Peanut Butter's house. Yeah, I didn't see it. Maybe IMDb lied to me.
I'm watching it again, so maybe let's see.
Who's that dog? Mr. Peanut Butter.
You can just edit this part out when I don't find
it.
Yep, I just freeze framed on it. I can.
Oh, you're right. There it is. Wow, that's so subtle.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
All right, so it's right when he steps on the crocodile head. I found it. Sean didn't.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
I edited out everything. I'm the one who found it. I've been finding Academy Award nominees for a long time. Sean's never done it. Never done it once.
He lost it in the sewer.
Didn't even notice the Ninja Turtles. Anyway, we get the phone was ringing because it was Captain Peanut Butter saying, "Hey, my spleen."
Like how he watches his wife.
My spleen is out. I'm good. Now go announce the Oscars. And he's like, nominations. And then he realizes he lost the envelope. And so him and Todd.
I would have never lost the envelope.
Oh, shut up, Trump.
I know.
Trump, stop it.
I'm great at keeping.
Trump, we're doing the show now. Shut up.
Sorry. Yeah.
He asked for a backup envelope, and he's like, "There is no backup envelope." And so they lock themselves into a room to come up with who the nominees are. And this is pretty funny because there's a lot of funny things on the whiteboard in the background.
Yeah.
Which my favorite being the best supporting actor nominees, who are Christian Snail, Mark Buffalo, Shark Rylance, Sylvester Stallone, and Tom Hardy, parentheses, who is a cat.
Beautiful.
Like, just an incredible array of best supporting actors. Also, under best actor, it says black people, question mark. Which
I also like, under sound mixing, it says C sound editing.
Under best song, play that funky Yahtzee Nazi.
There was best cinematography. There's the Hateful BB-8.
Okay.
Which is a Star Wars reference.
Right. For best actress, Jennifer Lawrence, Kate Blanchett, and Jennifer Lawrence.
Yeah.
There's a lot of really good stuff on there. They're coming up with all this stuff.
I love that they put Avatar on there.
Yep, Avatar. Daniel Day-Lewis has to be in there somewhere, so they put it down from sound editing. And then they were like, "Hey, BoJack, we need more for best actor." BoJack was pretty good in Secretariat. Besides, he's our friend. What?
I just saw a best original screenplay. a rivers runs through it.
The Weezer story. Yeah, that's pretty good. Rivers Cuomo. What a guy. Jennifer Lawrence also dominating best supporting actress, by the way. Yeah. But Todd's like, "Is BoJack our friend?" And Mr. Peanut Butter's like, "Wow, I'm surprised to hear you say that, Chavez. Let's dig into that. We have time." I don't think we do. But Todd basically says, "I'm sick of BoJack getting everything he wants and steamrolling everybody to get it, and then still not being happy with it." And oh wait, this is where he says the other grandma thing.
Yeah.
He says there's always time to talk about feelings. As Nana Peanut Butter used to say, there's always time to talk about feelings because feelings are the ceilings of our hearts. And a leaky feeling ceiling leads to a flood of blood. And I'm cold. Will you pass me that blanket? And that's when Todd says he's tired of BoJack walking all over everybody and getting everything he wants. And then he goes, "I think it's important to remember that BoJack is a damaged individual." Like, hey, this is what the show is telling us, is it's okay. And Todd's just kind of like, "Okay, yeah, we can nominate him, I guess. But did you really think he was that good in the movie?" And he goes, "I didn't see it. It seemed long."
Oh, fuck.
So then we cut to Mr. Peanut Butter doing the last nominees, and he goes, "The last nominee for Best Picture is Avatar. I will not take any questions. Goodbye." And the audience is freaking out.
I love them back watching it on TV, and they're like, "I don't know. They had so many questions, like, why did you say that? Why are you running?
Yeah. Why were you reading off that napkin?"
Yeah. And lots of strainers in this.
Yes, again, spaghetti strainers everywhere. So the guys show up and go, Mr. Peanutbutter, we know what you did. And then we cut back to present where he told Bojack all this.
I may be crazy. I feel like there's something there.
Like they didn't tell us a part of the story?
Yeah, I feel like we're going to learn something more. What happened?
Well, I think he went around telling everybody they weren't nominated for Oscars.
Probably. Did he maybe like fight off those people with spaghetti strainers?
No, you're reaching on that one, bud. You're reaching on that one. And Bojack's he starts disassociating here.
Yeah.
And it's like, I not nominated? I wasn't nominated? And Mr. Peanutbutter is kind of like, hey, like he's just kind of like, none of this really matters.
But before he does that, he spills the beans about Todd.
Yes, that's true. He says, don't be mad at Todd. And he goes, why would I be mad at Todd? And he's like, he also says, it's an honor just to be nominated. Oh, wait.
Yeah. But yeah, the none of this matters that he leaves on is like,
yeah.
Oh, that is the worst possible thing you could say to this guy right now.
Yeah, but he does say Todd didn't even want to nominate you, and Bojack's like, what? But I realized something today when my brother came from the hospital, I think it's going to make you feel a lot better. None of this matters. And Bojack's kind of like,
that is not what I needed.
And he walks away whistling, and everybody left during this time as well. Yeah,
because he's no longer Oscar nominated.
Right. And then we cut back to Princess Carol and Judah, and Judah's like, hey, I'm going to forego 3 months of my salary. And Princess Carolyn's like, I just wasted everybody's time for 6 months. And she mentions like getting bought out by one of the big 5 agencies. And Judah kind of side eyes and is like, like he's going to say something, but he doesn't.
Yeah. I can't wait to see the payoff with Judah. This dude, Judas has been here in the fucking weeds with us the whole time. And I can't wait to see how it ends.
Instead of telling her that, hey, Vim tried to buy us out, he says, maybe it's a good time to live one of your other 8 lives. And he's like, it's a pleasure been working for you. I'm sorry I got so emotional, which he didn't. And he leaves, and she decides to call Ralph.
Yeah.
We see his business card on her wall. We cut to the diner where Diane is talking to her friend. I want to say Susie. I don't know her name.
I don't know who this is. I actually wrote down, who is that?
She's been in episodes before. She's one of Diane's friends.
Okay.
But Diane kind of just talks about her own problems with Bojack, and she's like saying the right things. Like, you don't even have to talk to Bojack. Why do you care so much about Bojack? When you came home, the first thing you did was go to Bojack's house. Roxy, that's her name. You could have stayed with me. You could have, done all that.
And Diane also is like, during this, kind of slipping into that superiority complex thing.
The whole water thing, yeah.
Why did they give us water when we didn't ask for water? Don't they know that there's a drought? What, they don't care about, like, yeah, it's like, oh, like, she's being confronted with this, like, her life isn't going the way that she wants it to, which is what her problem has been the whole time. But like Bojack, she keeps trying to avoid the fact that that's a problem.
Right.
And like, as this is getting confronted with her in this moment, she starts to be like slipping back into that defense mechanism of like, I'm so much better than people because I think about the fact that we're in a drought.
Right. Well, she gets up, holds up a glass of water with her cast hand, drops it, yells, we're in a drought. And then someone goes, sit down, we're thirsty. So she sits down, goes, it's like people only think about themselves, grabs the one water left and drinks it, and then goes, so what's going on with you? Like, in a way where like they have not talked about. So literally the person that she's mad at is her.
Yep.
We cut back to Princess Carolyn, who gets on the phone with Ralph, and he feeds her this story about how he found this like foreign ballerina dancer, and now they're married. And she's like, what? And he goes, I'm just kidding. I've been thinking about you constantly. Can we meet up Saturday?
He's fucking him, dude.
He is.
He is. I
The
mean,
Rizzler.
he is the Rizzler.
He's
dude.
the Rizzler, dude.
He is him, dude. I'm not gonna lie. Ralph Stilton is the only character I'm rooting for.
Right.
I want him to have a happy ending so bad.
He is him. He truly is. The Riz is outstanding. So they make a date. We cut back to Bojack, who's just laying on his couch. The giant chocolate Oscar guy comes and says, "Hey, we only want our giant chocolate Oscar being associated with real Oscar nominees." So he's taking it back.
Yeah.
And Bojack's like, "Whatever, I don't care." He calls Anna for the 4th time, and she's not answering. He's like, "I need you." And this is Bojack, by the way, Horseman. Like he does every voicemail he ever leaves. And then Todd comes in, and he's like, "Hey, Todd, where you been?" And they have a moment here where he wants Todd to go escape from him, and he goes, "Hey, Todd, you're my best friend. I need you. Don't leave me. Don't be like everyone else." And Todd's like, "I'm not leaving you. And Bojack's like being awful presumptuous. He's like, "You owe me because I let you live here. And Mr. Peanutbutter told me that you weren't going to nominate me." But he says this funny thing. "Mr. Peanutbutter told you that was a kid I used to beat my bum like a bongo in the bath." And something interesting in this scene, Sean, which I don't know that they ever pay off. But in the bath, when he's standing, there is a bottle of mane and fur.
I just saw that.
And so... is that just a joke about like how women use horse shampoo sometimes? Or is Todd like adopted by a horse person?
Wait, was he adopted by a horse?
Right.
Or what if he's like half horse, half man?
I don't think he is. I don't know if they ever paid this off. It probably was
That's
just
crazy.
I'm guessing it's just like a shampoo joke because there are actual women in the world that use horse shampoo.
Yeah.
Which I think is crazy. But anyway.
Yeah.
But we get this cute little thing of Todd beating his bum up, and Bojack's like, "No, he didn't tell me that, so he didn't tell you everything. Did he tell you about the time I counted to 1,000,000?" And it cuts to him counting, and he's like, "You're getting missing the best part." He goes, 7? Because he stopped at 6.
Yeah.
And then he goes, "No, you told me you didn't want to nominate me for an Oscar." And he's like, "What the hell, man? After everything I'd done for you." And Todd's just kind of like, "What do you like? I let you use my house for your company's headquarters." And he goes, "Yeah, that's because you're not my friend because you feel bad about Emily." And Bojack's kind of like, "Oh, you know about Emily?" And Todd doesn't exactly know, right? Because he just knows Emily feels uncomfortable. So Bojack goes, "You know I had sex with Emily." He goes, "You had sex with Emily?"
Yeah.
And Todd's pissed, obviously.
He's like, "I thought you just gave her one of those big sad monologues you give people."
It made her uncomfortable. And so,
and I think Aaron Paul gives a fucking hell of a performance in this last scene.
Yeah. I think I have the full quote here.
Is it the "you can't keep doing"?
So he starts with the "can't keep doing this. You can't keep doing shitty things and then feel bad about yourself. Like that makes it okay. You need to be better." And then Bojack goes, "You know, I'm sorry." And he starts making excuses. And this is when the real part hits that I have here.
Yes.
"Bojack, stop. You are all the things that are wrong with you. It's not the alcohol or the drugs or any of the shitty things that happened in your career or when you were a kid. It's you, all right? It's you. Fuck, man. What else is there to say?" And it's the I think the only time they use fuck in this show.
Interesting. Okay.
They kind of used it a couple episodes ago when Diane found out she was pregnant and she said motherfuck, and then it cut. And then ucker on the next episode, right?
Yeah.
But I think this is the only time anybody says fuck, or at least so far.
I mean, it's an impactful moment.
It is.
I mean, like I said, I think he gives like a really good performance in this scene.
And that's where the episode cuts after. What else is there to say?
I feel like the next 2 episodes are going to be fucking really painful.
You have no fucking idea, Sean. Fucking buckle up, dude.
Yeah.
Holy shit. Buckle up.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the episode. Let's do the categories. Or let's talk about. Do you have anything else to say about the episode overall? I mean, obviously that's a gut punch there. That's a big hit.
I think that this for me is like a really solid episode. I think that like the Mr. Peanut Butter stuff is funny, but I do really like, and I think I'm higher on the episode now than I was going into the podcast, because talking through this, I think I brought up a lot of the like how a lot of the characters are projecting onto each other.
Yeah.
And that was something that I was like realizing as we were talking about it. I hadn't like immediately picked up on that
for sure
watching it. So I think like coming out of it, I really love specifically with Diane and Bojack, how they are essentially it's like a mirror regression.
Yeah.
You know, and we see them like becoming people they don't like being.
Right. Well, and it really sucks for Diane because I think, she had kind of reached a place where she was okay with the fact that she wasn't like saving the world or, and he brought that back. And he brought it back out of her. Right. And, that's a regression you don't want to see. And it's just, I think she had made peace with her life. And then he comes out and just goes, you're boring and you used to care about shit. And maybe it was healthier for her to not care so much about shit. Right. And so it sucks that that's brought back out. And then he's regressed so hard from even, like you could almost argue that like when he fires Princess Carolyn in the last episode, that showed growth, right? That showed him doing the right thing for him and not just doing something because someone made him feel bad or, And then to get nominated for this Oscar or think he's nominated for this Oscar and just regress to this like attention seeking, everybody look at how cool I am kind of guy. He's regressed a lot. And now it's even gone more off the rails that he's already pushed Diane away. Now Todd's pushed away based on his actions. He's done. Anna won't answer the phone. It's like, who does he turn to now? Right?
Mr. Peanut Butter.
Well, I'll tell you.
Probably not.
Well, hold on. Let's do the categories first, and then we'll get into what the next episode's about a little bit.
Okay.
So what was your favorite animal-based bit?
We didn't bring this up, but that's okay because I get to bring it up here. It's when Diane is in the diner with her friend at the beginning of the scene. There's like a bird that is being like served bread.
Yes.
And they're like, how do you want it? You want it toasted? You want it? And he goes, can I get it on stale?
Yep.
Which is really good.
That's a good one. I really like, we didn't talk about it either, but during the party scene, there's like a buffalo, and he has a whole keg in his hand, and the other guy has a beer can, and they chug them both. And the guy crushes the beer can on his head, but the buffalo crushes the giant keg on his head. I really liked that. What about the best bit?
I like that they put Avatar on the fucking board.
That is a good bit because it's like, wait, that's a good movie, right? Avatar?
Yeah.
Did you know Avatar came out in 2009?
Yeah.
Mine is going to be the Nana peanut butter advice.
Okay.
I'm a big fan of the two different bits of the Nana peanut butter advice. Nana peanut butter. What about favorite quote, Sean?
I'm going to say it's that you're going to be so miserable you're going to want to kill yourself and you're going to have nobody left to stop you.
Yep, that's that. It's either that one or what Todd says at the end for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so we talked about who does BoJack turn to? And the title of the next episode is That's Too Much, Man.
Okay.
And I don't know if you know who says that.
I don't think so.
Oh, you don't know? That's a catchphrase from someone on Horsing Around.
Oh, okay. Is that Sarah Lynn?
It's Sarah Lynn. And so BoJack gets...
Oh, yeah, that's too much, man. Yep. Yeah, okay, yeah.
BoJack gets Sarah Lynn to break her sobriety to help drown his depression and experience the next few months through blackouts. This is how that is what... And it's a 9.6 on IMDb.
Oh, my God. I'm so excited
This is one of the highest rated episodes of the show.
Oh, I'm very excited. I'm very excited.
You're not ready.
Well, then that's going to be very fun.
Yes. Here's okay, there's the featured review. I'm not going to read the whole review. I'm just going to read the first line. The subject says, "It's fun and hilarious, ... right up until it kicks you square in the balls 7 times."
Okay.
So that's going to be the next episode, you guys. And then we only got one more after that for the end of season 3. So thank you guys for hanging with us for that. I'm glad we got back to doing this, Sean. I really like watching this show with you and talking about it.
Yeah, I've been wanting to watch this show so badly, so I'm so glad that we're doing this.
Agreed. So yeah, let us know what you think down in the comments. Everybody, send us an email, whatever. Where can people find you, Sean?
Right here.
Well, what about on on X? Like on Twitter?
Oh, I'm technically at Sean_AFK.
Technically,
I don't really tweet there. And I go back and forth on whether I want to private my account or not. But
guys, you got to follow him before you private it.
Yeah,
you got to follow him.
I'm as we get closer to November, I'm gonna want to vent politically at some point, and I think I might need to private my account before I do that.
Might be a good idea. You can follow me at SpikeGhetti Bros on Twitter and on Twitch.tv/Super SpikeGhetti Bros, where we stream stuff and all that. So thank you guys for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye, everybody.